Good morning, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be making a first aid kit video related to first aid kit. My intention on doing this video is to kind of inspire people to make their own, build their own first aid kit. I'm going to do it in reverse. I got all the stuff that's on our first aid kit, and I'm going to put it on a first aid kit bag instead of you have it and then you put it out. Just something different. Let's give it a try. Just a disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, but before building all of this, at least I have an idea. I did my research on how to use all of this, and I do have help from my sister-in-law to friends that works in the medical field, nurses and all that, EMTs that I know. So this is what they recommend. So I figure I'll build like not really an extensive one, but kind of covers a little bit of the basics. So let's get into it. I'll switch the camera angle. So this is what it looks like, everything that's in there. I'll probably have to move this here just so I can start building it here. Alright, for the first things on our first aid kit, you gotta get a bag. It doesn't have to be this one, it could be a small one. I just happen to have this bag, and you can tell that this is an old bag. I got this bag in a employee appreciation day in an old job. I know tactical people use this, you know, because it's a tactical pouch. It has a Velcro, Mole panel, some patches and stuff. But I like this kind of bag because they open in a clamshell, where when you open it in an emergency, you know what you have and all that. It has loops, some what do you call this? Garters, some pouches. I don't know if this. Oh, it's not removable. More pouches. It's a Gonex, I guess. I don't know if that's the brand or whatever. And then it has the YKK zippers that open smooth. But yeah, this is the bag I prefer for first aid kits, at least on this one, because they fit too as well. So let's start on things to put on this thing. So first thing that you need to have on a first aid kit is the first aid kit guide. Because not everybody is medically inclined to do stuff, but at least it has all the information as long as you can read. And you see this thing when you buy one, and you Frankenstein it like what I usually do. Keep this. This is your guide. I mean, obviously you have to fill this up depending on your location, but at least it gives you all the information on basic first aid. You know, especially, you know, they even have Spanish version, which is kind of nice. So you keep that. I'll put that later after I put the rest of the stuff. Okay, second thing, I'm not gonna say all the things for a second, but anyway, another thing is a splint. So, you know, you use this if you break something that's not supposed to be broken, but, you know, you can make a makeshift splint. On this case, this actually comes with a pack of 2. You can buy this on Amazon. I mean, you can make one from rocks. Sorry, the like wood sticks and stuff. But if you have this, easy. My kids are active now on like soccers and stuff, so this could be handy before, you know, we bring them to the hospital or something, or, you know, when somebody's injured or broken something. So since this is a huge thing, I usually put it on the very back to give it like a support for the rest of the stuff. Second one is an instant cold compress. So, you know, people that haven't used this, there's like a vial inside. It works by chemical reaction, I think. You break the vial, you shake it, and then it becomes cold. So, you know, if you bump your head and you don't have any ice nearby, this works. So if your feet is swelling or something, this works. So I recommend getting at least one of that. Next thing is an emergency. This is a Mylar blanket. You can buy a pack of these and distribute it on your kits for your vehicle, your EDC, or whatever you call it, bug out bag or go bag. And this is nice to control hypothermia for, you know, in case of an emergency. So that's why I keep at least one in here. And it's a good signaling device too, since it's reflective in case you're in an emergency or something. So that pretty much goes in here. Let's close this up if that's everything that's fit in there. I got some tongue depressors, and this works for if you put, you know, you can spread, you know, in a wound You know, you can use it as a tongue depressor as well, but you know, general purpose, you know, these are disposable. You can buy a lot of this. When you go to like to get your yearly checkup, you can even ask your doctor to get a couple of this. So, tongue depressors, it goes in there. That's Q-tips, you know, for hard to reach area places and cleaning your ears, pretty much. So this always comes in handy as well. So put it in there. This is kind of like a small, I don't know what this is called. It's like a tourniquet or whatever, but they use this to they wrap it around your arm or whatever part that they're gonna put like an IV on when they need to find a vein. You can ask this in a hospital too when you get, you know, IV'd, or if you know, we were recently in the hospital and somebody's getting an IV, and I asked, "Can I have that?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can have it. It's just a rubber band." It's kind of like a makeshift tourniquet, so I keep it as well. I'll put it in there, and then I got a story on the other two items. So this two items, this is a trauma shears, I think it's called. This is the one that you see from like a TV show. They used to cut for like clothes and stuff, and they do cut in clothes, and you know, there's like I said, specialty features in there, so you don't suddenly cut something that you're not supposed to cut. When you buy one of these, or at least get one of these, make sure you get a full one, because it's easy to use. I do like the, what do you call that, Leatherman Raptor, but it's foldable, and when people that doesn't have an idea what it is, they have no idea how to unfold it. So I figure when I'm building one, I gotta put an actual scissors in there, so you know that it's a scissor. Anyway, that's just my thought. But yeah, so this lives in here because since in an emergency you probably have to cut somebody else's clothes or something. I bought that together with this disposable scalpel, and this do have expiration date. I think I bought this in Tractor Supply or something, because I was watching an episode of it's like one of those medical shows and stuff, and they did the surgery on the side of the road, so I thought that was kind of cool. That's my whole thought process on this. Hopefully I don't have to end up using this, but this was cheap. They were on sale or something, or they were like updating the display or something, so I grabbed some, and they were like literally on clearance, so I got some of this. I don't know if we're gonna use it, but you know, in case of an emergency, maybe. So I have that in here. And then I always keep some bandages, like those skin colored one, you know, bandages just for, you know, you wrap it around something to limit the control, because you know your ligament needs to heal, or I don't know if I said that right, or something needs to heal or something. It lives over here. I also have this like medical tape, you know, you always need this in case you have to wrap something, a gauze or something, to stop bleeding a specific area. That lives in there. And one thing too, oh, hold on, before I put all of this, I'm sorry, you gotta need some nitrile medical use glove as well. So I keep it separate in a Ziploc, because then in case of emergency you can rip it off in case you have to touch something that you're not supposed to touch bare hand. So always have this, and this actually lives right next to the Q-tips. And I put a set of wet ones in there, wet wipes, mainly because before you put on the glove, I assume you have to clean your hands or whatever. But yeah, that lives in there. There you go. Now we're back in action. And then bandages goes in there. Trauma shears goes in there. Alright, and then get a pair of tweezers that's easy to use, and I like this kind one. I think I bought this in a dollar store. It has a gentle tip. So some of the other ones are kind of like aggressive. But I've used this to remove a tick, so I guess it worked. You know, tweezers, you know, for splinters, you know, ticks, and very hard to get areas. So always make sure you always have. I always carry a tweezer as well. I work in retail, so I get like pallet wood splinters all the time, so that works. And then get a for control, you know, to know the temperature of somebody. I always get one of those old school thermometer. In this particular one, it's mercury free, but you know, so you can check somebody's temperature, just at least, you know, if it's you know, if they have fever or something, at least you know what to do after you take their temperature. So that lives over. Oh. I should have done this in succession, I'm sorry. But usually that lives right here with the gloves. I know this thing is all packed. I try to cover as much as I can in terms of emergency. My thought process on this is, if I don't know how to use it, even though I do, whoever is an actual first responder on the scene, and you know, I can at least offer some help. That's the main reason why I have some complicated stuff in here. But like I said, I do know how to use this. Not medically, but you know, the scalpel, you know, I do arts and crafts, and I figure it's the same thing as an X-Acto blade. You know, like things like that. But anyway, we finish on the left side. That's more of like the intensive stuff, or if you have to do surgery or whatever. But yeah, this goes in there. Let's go on the right stuff. Oh, right side. So this is for like boo-boos and all that stuff. So let's start with the bleed stop. So, you know, when you have a major bleeding, you can use this. I've only used this once when I cut my leg while I was in hiking. It wasn't that bad, but I was always curious on how to use this. So I opened one, and they're pretty cheap, frankly. So yeah, they do. They kind of like. Have you ever used one of those things when a oil spill, and then you put one of those like sand things, and that's kind of like what happens. It's kind of cool. But yeah, bleed stop. Next, I do carry some gauzes. So I keep the gauzes in a separate bag, because in case of emergency, you have to rip the saw open anyway, and you have different sizes, you know. Yeah, like kind of like large, medium, and kind of like small ones in case you have to make a makeshift band-aid. So I keep that as well on this side. Keep that in there. And then I do there's some different size bandages, a little bit big ones. So let's put that in there as well. Speaking of bandage, I do carry a small, like a bandage kit. And the purpose of this is, more often than not, this is the stuff that you need on a first aid kit for like small boo-boos. That's why I have different size in there. I have butterfly closure, I think that's what they're called. You know, different size ones. I do recommend getting like a kid's bandage, because sometimes, you know, when you have kids, they're afraid of like wounds, and when they see something like, you know, like in this case a bat wheel or like Paw Patrol or something like that, they don't get scared because it gives them comfort. So anyway, that's just a food for thought. And I do have tampons in here, so I can cover. Sorry, I've seen like I've never tested it, but I've seen in a movie they use this to clot, or at least, you know, stop bleeding as well. I mean, and it's a feminine care product, feminine hygiene care product. Is that right? I guess so. You know, and then in case of emergency, you know, I can give you one. But anyway, yeah, this is the whole purpose of the tampon, is stop the bleeding as well. So we keep that here. And like I said, this is the most commonly used item, so I can just pull it in there, pull it out of there. That's what she said. Another one is a tourniquet. So there's a lot of videos on how to use a tourniquet. You can Google them or YouTube them, but the one thing I recommend is putting like some type of pen, so you can put the time in case when you use them. In this case, I just had this small Sharpie, because you can buy a pack of these, and sometimes when you go to like those lantern festival, they give this away. I figure it's a good idea to just clip in here. So yeah, Frankenstein. So I keep a tourniquet in here. Oh, I forgot something. This is a petroleum jelly, so you know what to use this for skin burns, or you know, when you have dry lips, you can use this as well. For it's an all-purpose thing. It's a fire starter as well. So this is the smallest that I found, and we use this quite a lot because I work in the kitchen, and sometimes you get burns, and you know, usually when you work in the kitchen, I highly doubt their first aid have those like burnt ointment, so I just use this. I just run to my truck and grab this. Anyway, that lives over here. Okay, so let's fill this things up. So I do have an iodine in case you have to do, like, it's an antiseptic, so you can clean wounds with this as well. Actually, that's one of the main purposes of this. So a nurse friend of mine says, if you're getting a scalpel, get an iodine too, so you can clean the area and doesn't get infected. I was like, done. So yeah, it lives in there. I do have an antibiotic cream for pain relief, for, you know, skin related one, so you can just numb, or at least numb one area or something like that. But yeah, we live in Utah where it's pretty dry, so you gotta have some eye drops, and you can tell that this is being used a lot. You know, if you wear contacts as well, you need those. I got a liquid bandage, and the purpose of this is in case you clip your chin or something. Which I have kids, so sometimes, you know, when they play rough and there's a hanging skin in there, at least you can just glue it together. So that's the purpose of that. And then pain meds, Tylenol, Advil. You can just buy this in one of those, like, to-go area for when you go to, like, a supermarket or grocery store. And we always go to Costco to buy the big ones. I just refill them. But yeah, we use Tylenol more than the Advil. That's why this is not open. But if you don't want to refill them, you can always buy it. This is cheap. It's like $1.50 in Walmart on those travel area. So you need to always have a pain med, you know, basic. If you had a headache or, you know, something's acting up, that goes in there. Some antiseptic wipes, the small ones. You can buy a big ones in Costco, like multiple one, and they come to like 50 of those. That's why, you know, I Frankenstein some of them, and at least on some of my kits, because I do have a medical kit for like hiking and stuff as well. So if you want that video, let me know. Maybe I'll post up shorts of that. And then last, more of the swipes, and we'll fill this up, you know, for sanitary purposes. You know, let's say you go to number 2, they don't have any soap or water, you can even use this. It folds. It's not as good as a wet wipes or like a diaper wipes, diaper baby wipes or whatever, but, you know, in a jiffy you can use that. I do have one of this antibiotic ointment. I think I got this from work. That's why it's one of those small one instead of that one. I think I got 2 because I was dressing my wound and I just grabbed a bunch, and it haven't expired yet, so I figure I'll use it. This is just a wound dressing gel as well. This came from a different kit, because sometimes when you buy kits like this, and this from my garage, they come with like random stuff, but it has like 5 of those, so I kind of like disperse it. So that, and last item on the kit is just what do you call this, diphenhydramine, so for allergies, you know, and some anti-diarrheal tablets, because, you know, we use our truck for road trips and stuff, and if you don't want to use the bathroom, or, you know, you're having some bowel movement problems, sometimes they help hold it until you reach your destination. That's pretty much on the med part, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's show it that it can actually close. It does. I know this thing is all expensive, but like I said earlier, I do know how to use some of it. I did my research, covers what we need. And if you're the first responder, you can at least, you know, lend them a hand. Be like, hey, I do have this, and this could, you know, save a life per se. But that's pretty much our medical kit for our truck. So yeah, hope you pick up a few ideas, maybe make your own, because you can even make your own in like a small one, or you can make a pre-made one, like these. You know, they go sale in Walmart, especially in the summertime, because, you know, it's going out kind of like season and stuff like that. And this works. I don't have anything against this. But I want to make a kit, so it kind of helped me I get educated when I ask people, and what do I have to put in here, and it's a good thing when you're getting educated from other people. That's pretty much it. I'll probably post a photo here. I don't know if we can edit it in here, and what it looks like inside the truck. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace. Let me actually show you where it goes in my truck. Just so you guys have a rough idea. You've probably seen it on our previous videos already. I like the accessibility of this as well. That's why I'm showing you. So this is the back of the truck. This comes with like a Velcro that kind of wraps around in the headrest. And since this have a big Velcro in the back, all you have to do is lay it in there and it works. Let me see a better angle. Yeah, if you need it, just peel it. It's kind of satisfying. All right.